So, you want to launch your business this year, but you're unsure on how to go about it. Or maybe you've done a bunch of research into the steps and it all seems very overwhelming. If that is the case, you're in the right place, because in today's video, I'm going to tell you the most efficient way for you to start and launch your business this year. This video is sponsored by Taylor Brands, more on them later. Okay, so we're going to break this whole process down week by week, and we're going to have your new business ideated and launched within just 4 weeks. So let's kick off with week 1 and the different things you need to get done during this first week. Now, a common mistake that a lot of new business owners make is when they decide that they want to create their own business, they sit down and think, okay, what am I going to invent? Like, have you guys ever seen that episode of New Girl where Nick and Schmidt invent like a sweatsuit or something?
The sweat!
It's like something that you wear to the gym, but can also wear to the office. If you haven't seen it, it's not a good product, but it's a really good example of what a lot of us start our journey doing. We think, okay, in order for me to have a business, I need to invent something from scratch. But in reality, that's not what you want to start with. You actually want to start by doing 2 things. The first thing you want to do is identify your target audience. So these are a group of people who you would like to serve in some way through your product or your service. So my target audience are creators and entrepreneurs, just like you watching this video. Maybe your target audience will be different. Maybe there'll be millennial mums. Maybe there'll be fitness fanatics. It's up to you to define who they are. Okay, so the next thing you want to do is you need to figure out what your audience will need help with. So now that you know who you want to serve, that's amazing. You now need to figure out how you're going to serve them. And the way in which you do that is by identifying at least one thing that your audience needs help with. I like to call these pain points. I say that like I made that up. It's just what it's called. But what you want to do is identify at least one pain point within your audience that you can solve through a product or service. If I give you an example of the main product that I have under one of my brands, it's called The Collective. It's a membership for creators and entrepreneurs. The pain point that The Collective solves is that creators and entrepreneurs need resources, masterclasses, and a community in order to really thrive. So that's exactly what The Collective offers them. So what is going to be the pain point that your target audience have that you're going to try and help them with? This is actually where the idea should come from. So it shouldn't be you sitting down being like, okay, maybe I'll invent like a flower that never dies. That's not what you should be doing. Instead, you should be figuring out who your target audience is, what their pain points are, merging those 2 things together, and that is where you're going to come up with your idea for your product or your service. Okay, let's move on to week 2. Now that you've come up with your product or service idea, we now need to focus on setting up your business for success. Now, this is the phase that a lot of people dislike because this is the phase that could be really tricky. It could be quite overwhelming as well.
I hate it.
Fortunately though, you can set your business up for success with ease when you use Taylor Brands, who are the sponsors of today's video. One of the most intimidating parts of launching your business is the legal side. So for example, your LLC formation, your logos, your trademarks, etc. I totally get how overwhelming that can all be. Trust me, I've created multiple businesses in the past. You can create all of these things with a few easy clicks when you use Taylor Brands. So some of my favorite tools that I know you're going to want to check out from Taylor Brands includes their LLC formation tool. It allows you to form your LLC in a few minutes with no hassle. I know how scary the formation of your LLC or your limited company could be, but it doesn't have to be that scary when you use this tool. Another tool you can use is their trademarking tool. It allows you to take the guesswork out of the process of trademarking, and it ensures that your name will be protected. You can also get access to the legal documents that you will need for your business, and you can even take care of all of your invoices and bookkeeping with the use of their finance manager. To get started, all you need to do is fill out a few simple questions about your business, and Taylor Brands will provide you with a customized guide of all the steps that you need to get started. Check out Taylor Brands via the link in my description to make sure that you can get through week 2, which is all about setting your business up for success with the most ease possible. All right, should we move on to week 3? We're really getting there now, guys. We're over halfway through. Week 3 is all about your marketing strategy. Now, if you're new to my channel, you may not know that this is really the area that I thrive in. But I'm going to do my absolute best to condense 11 years of marketing experience into just a few minutes because we don't need to create this huge marketing strategy just yet when we're in the early days of our business. Instead, what we need to do is focus and complete a few different tasks which will help us get our marketing off on the right foot. So the first task that you're going to want to do in week 3 is to pick a marketing channel. Now, I'm sure you know already, but marketing is all about how you present your product or service to your target audience. And when I talk about a marketing channel, it's basically the way in which you're able to present your product or service to your audience. So one of the most common marketing channels that a lot of us use is social media. I'm so sorry, can you hear like some biting happening? Can you hear that? Let me show you what the culprit is. This little monster is currently eating the sofa that I'm on. Okay. One of the most common marketing channels that people pick in the early days, and honestly the one that I recommend, is social media. The reason why people use social media as a marketing channel is because depending on the social media channel that you pick, you have the ability to reach billions of people. So the chances of your target audience that we defined in week 1 being on a social media channel that you use is pretty high up. In addition to that, using social media to market your brand new business is one of the most cost-effective channels that you can use as well. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that social media is free, although I know it might seem free on the surface. I'm going to be honest with you, there are going to be some costs involved, especially if you want to use it properly. You might want to hire someone who's going to coach you through the process of using social media effectively, especially if you're new to social media. You might want to hire content creators to create content for you. You might want to do a whole production shoot for your product or your service as well. You might want to hire someone to take over your social media channels and manage all of that content and all of your posting completely. So there might be costs involved. However, when you compare these costs to other marketing channels, including TV advertising or out of home, which is basically like billboards, it is significantly cheaper to market your business using social media. I'm going to link to a video up here where I break down how you can use a channel like Instagram to market your business so that you can learn a little bit more about it. But the main thing you want to be doing in week 3 is picking a marketing channel and starting to immerse yourself in that channel. Should we move on to week 4? Now, week 4 is the planning week. Now, this might feel backwards because for a lot of people, you would think that you start with the planning, but that's often where a lot of us go wrong. So we start our process of wanting to create a business, and we do that by spending 4 months planning this business and not actually acting on it, which is why I recommend you do this in week 4 rather than week 1. By this point, you already have the idea for your business. You've already started the process of creating your logo, getting your trademark, forming your LLC, all through the use of Taylor Brands. You've also picked a marketing channel and you've started to immerse yourself in that channel and learn how it really works. So now is the best time for you to take a step back and plan what the next 6 to 12 months are going to look like for your business. Because you have all those building blocks there already, it's going to be a lot easier for you to form a plan. Now, when I say form a plan, you might be wondering, what does that actually involve? Well, you want to sit down and you want to identify things like your goals for the next 6 to 12 months, which is going to be easier for you to identify because now you have an understanding of what your product is, who your audience are, and how you're going to market your product. You also want to map out how long it's going to take for you to produce your product or your service, and you want to start to look into the ways in which that you're going to use your marketing channel to talk about your product or service. So really, this is your time to dream big and to look into the future to see what the next 6 to 12 months will look like as you start to build your brand. All right, guys, those are the end of your 4 weeks, and that is the most efficient way for you to kickstart your brand new business in just 4 weeks or less. Do not forget to check out Taylor Brands so that you can supercharge this entire process and get through it with as much ease as possible. If you feel like hanging around, I recommend watching this video. It's all about how social media is changing for this year and beyond. So if you did choose social media as your marketing channel, I really recommend that you watch this video next so that you can make sure you're up to date with all of the changes and what's happening with it, because spoiler alert, there's a lot. Thank you so much for watching. As always, I can't wait to see you in my next video.